ChatGPT has taken the headlines. The Hollywood actors strike is probably the first example of a business being impacted majorly by IT and AI leading to strikes. There has been others and there will be more. And the Hollywood actors strike, yes, there was more to it than the AI and the use of ChatGPT. But again, it's an example of the impacts that are coming down the pipeline. Now, there's about half a dozen main types of AI. There's computer vision, there's fuzzy logic, there's expert systems, there's robotics. We've talked about the dogs. We've talked about the drones, the robots on the manufacturing assembly line, creating cars are all using AI. There's the machine-to-machine learning that we've talked about, data and algorithms. There's the neural networks, and there's the deep language processing. And we've seen the sort of chatbots on the websites where you ask a question of it when you're trying to get your mobile phone account sorted out. Now, just to give you a couple of examples, China is one of the world's leaders in facial recognition software. When you get your passport scanned at the airport and you go through passport control, that's just one of many examples of facial recognition. If you've used various security apps on your iPhone, they take a picture of you and then they verify that it's you. That's another example of facial recognition and AI. Due to the government policies within China, China has already started to tie things like your facial recognition in a camera as you walk down the street to that you haven't paid your taxes, therefore you are not allowed to take a train and travel interstate. So these technologies are already coming, they're already being used, and they're already being integrated. If you look at Israel, Israel is one of the leaders in voice recognition software and call centers and service center management. There is software in the call centers that recognizes the stress in the voice of a customer, and they have software that's predicting and prompting the people in the service center to try and manage through the issue. These are all opportunities in their early days. They're all coming through. And again, they create a whole series of business opportunities. Now, there's a simple slide here which says these are some of the current applications of AI, and basically it's getting into every area of business. Now, let me just skip forward very quickly. I'm not going to get into any specific software in any detail, but I just want to walk you through this. If you're speaking into your mobile phone, you're using the likes of Siri and Alexa, and you say, Siri, give me a beep in 10 minutes so you can time the cooking of your eggs. All of this is using AI, and it's here now and it's being used. Netflix, in India, do you get Netflix, or have you got an Indian equivalent?
We have the Netflix also. We have it.
Right. So all the recommendations that Netflix is making to you based on your viewing habits, those from other people that match the things that you watch, all of that AI is being used now to keep you glued to Netflix. And it's the same with YouTube, social media, and all the others. Chat GPT we'll talk about in a minute. Now, transcription software that uses AI, an example is Otter. Those who have children who are fudging their homework while we're all busy cooking dinner and doing everything else, they're using things like Socratic to actually help them with their software, as well as ChatGPT. And you've seen some of the deep fake stuff, which we'll talk about in a minute. That's coming out of presentation tools like Canva, and that's all using AI that's driving everything. Now, Bargo, are you okay? We'll come back to that. We'll leave some time at the end. The idea is that we'll actually look at ChatGPT which is one of the types of AI in a real instance, and to show what it's being used for now. So we'll come back to that. Now, on the left-hand side, you've got some areas where ChatGPT and AI is already impacting what we do. And down the right-hand side are some of the challenges that go with it. So in education, we already have students using ChatGPT to pass exams, to write essays. Educational institutions are trying to respond to this. In business, we already have AI doing things like e-discovery. E-discovery is where there's a lawsuit. It goes through all of the emails, all of the documents, and pulls out relevant information to a particular court case. We've seen it used for generating source code. We're seeing it used to generate tax returns and covering letters. And we've seen it being used in engineering designs. So you're designing a construction site and you're designing a drainage ditch. AI is analyzing 100 or more previous designs of drainage ditches in similar situations to help the design process go faster. Children are having fun sending cease and desist letters as pranks to other children, causing their parents a bunch of stress. You've also heard the ones that kids now write letters in ChatGPT and send it to the teacher so they get out of homework and these kinds of things. Now, one of the bigger areas is the criminal, the nefarious uses of ChatGPT and AI. This is on an exponential growth pattern. So the criminal organizations are sending messages to you as SMS messages, as email, whatever, to say your parcel hasn't arrived. Click here. What the telcos have done and the telecommunications company have done is they've applied AI to analyze these activities and reduce the number of these scams that you get. So if you think you're getting inundated with a lot of these scams, there's actually many, many, many more, because the telcos and those people are starting to work behind the scenes. We'll talk about election propaganda, deep fakes. If we get time, we'll talk a little bit about financial crime. And one of the worst scenarios that is actually happening now is AI is being used in family disputes around cases of child abuse. Now, I don't want to be negative. I just want to paint the picture. On the other side, we know that the digital divide is increasing, and AI is going to enhance the digital divide. And as a society, is it a priority of ours to address the digital divide? There's the technology aspects. We brushed on the data, and one of the biggest areas coming up is regulatory, whether it's privacy, security, safety. If you look at the EU, they've just passed their first set of legislation to protect people around AI. They're the first major market in the world to do it. That AI legislation has depended upon some legislation for a thing called data governance, which is just how do we manage and supply data with privacy access, your ability to find out who's seeing your data. So as we move forward and we start to implement more regulations to protect us from AI, we're going to have to look at other regulatory areas that go with it. There's a friend and I are doing a piece of work for the Malaysian government at the moment around trying to take the European regulatory framework for data governance and apply it in a Malaysian context. And I know that there's a similar effort underway within the federal government within India, but I'm not aware of any more details other than that.